Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I'd like to carry on with my discussion of Liz Truss's attendance at a MAGA convention, discussing some of the more extreme views expressed with which she has now aligned herself, including calls to literally end democracy, and ask why does she still have the Conservative whip. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel. So yesterday I was discussing some of the points raised by Liz Truss in her off-the-wall speech to a MAGA group in America. Thanks to everyone who pointed out that triangulate has an additional meaning in US politics, although I have to say, looking it up, didn't make me any the wiser what she was trying to say. But Truss's attendance was not just about her bizarre turns of phrase or harmful rhetoric. There were aspects of the conference which, if a Conservative MP had even attended a few years ago, would have seen them having the whip removed. That Truss felt comfortable going shows how far to the fascist right the Conservative Party have moved. Give you an example. A few years ago, Tory MPs were banned from attending the annual National Conservatism Conference. Last year, not only were several Tory MPs in attendance, but a cabinet minister gave a speech. So what happened at the CPAC conference, which Truss attended this week, which has been particularly contentious? Well, I think I would pull out three things that I've seen. The first was that a MAGA activist gave a speech in which he explicitly called for the overthrow of democracy. Now, to be clear, I'm not paraphrasing. I do not mean he was calling for reforms of the democratic system, which frankly are sorely needed in America, although not in the way MAGAs would approve of. No, I mean his exact words were as follows: "Welcome to the end of democracy. We're here to overthrow it completely. We didn't get all the way there on January 6th. So this guy's not only claiming that he wants democracy to quite literally end, but that the whole point of the conference was to organise to achieve that. He further said that January 6th was an attempt to overthrow democracy, which they didn't quite make stick. And all quite openly. Recorded. Well, of course it's recorded. That's how I know about it. Now, you can argue, well, he doesn't speak for everyone at the conference. The people at the conference, the organisers may not have known he was going to say that. However, when someone makes a statement like that, if it is way out of kilter with the main aims of a conference, you expect pushback. You would expect organisers and other keynote speakers to be falling over themselves to distance themselves from it, to denounce it. So did Liz Truss, which is the important one for us, did Liz Truss denounce that statement? No, neither did Nigel Farage when it comes to it, but he's not got the Conservative whip. So unless Liz Truss does that at some point, she has consciously attended a conference which it is being claimed exists to end democracy itself. Second notable issue was Liz Truss being interviewed by GB News in Washington, saying herself, this isn't just aligning with someone else's comments, her own comments, that Joe Biden needs to be kicked out of the White House. So you have a former leader of the Conservative Party, the party of government, actively calling for specific regime change of one of our closest allies. It is possibly testament to just how irrelevant Truss is seen that this has not caused an almighty international incident. And yet, Liz Truss is a sitting Conservative MP. She is also influential. She is actively building up a power base of MPs and potential future MPs, which is popular with many members of the Conservative Party. In other words, she is influential in the party now and maybe even more influential after the election. And she is openly calling for the current head of government of a close ally to be removed from office. And given the language used elsewhere in the conference, she's not even making it clear that she doesn't mean forcibly and undemocratically removed from office. Then there was the third. She was pushing the rhetoric, which others, including Braverman, also are, that an Islamic party might win in Rochdale. She was talking to Steve Bannon at the time, who described it as, oh, the place with the rape situation. Bannon then described Tommy Robinson as a hero and asked if it meant someone from a radical jihadist party might be sending someone to the Commons. Truss said that is correct. What was correct? That Tommy Robinson is a hero? That radical jihadist party even exists on the ballot at Rochdale, let alone stands a chance of winning? Were both correct? What did she mean? And you can't say it's obvious from context, because neither of the things Bannon said was really true. Like, you might be thinking, oh, she's probably referring to Galloway's mob. But, you know, I could describe Galloway's mob as in a series of very uncomplimentary statements. I don't think I would ever describe them as jihadist. They've certainly not presented policies of that sort. Sajid Javid, who's a former cabinet colleague of Truss for many years, said that she should have known better and every MP should have confronted such a statement head on. But the combination of what the conference seemed to stand for and what Liz Truss personally seemed to align herself with, or at least failed to challenge, has raised questions about how Sunak should deal with this. I would argue that Conservative MPs have lost the whip for less than this. I mean, you've got Matt Hancock, Nadine Dorries in the past, both lost the whip in the past for attending a reality TV contest. You know, why? Because they were failing to represent their constituents while they were there. Well, what was Truss doing there last week? She wasn't helping her constituency or parliamentary work in that visit. She was actively undermining British values. She has called for the removal from office of the head of government of a close ally. Whether she meant it or not, without her clarifying the situation, she appears to have agreed that Tommy Robinson, a man with a string of convictions for violence and fraud, was a hero. You would think Sunak would see this as an opportunity. He's completely justified in removing the whip. Unless she gets it back before the election, that means she can't stand as a Conservative candidate. Oh dear, won't be in the Commons after the election. How sad, never mind. Given that she is one of the key figures agitating for the party to move towards full-blown fascism, she's actually presented the parts of the Conservative Party opposed to this with a gift. Sunak can remove the whip and he's dealt with a major problem. On the other hand, not removing the whip means that opponents can attack him for being weak and his party for being radical extremists. Without action being taken, I can see Starmer bringing this up in PMQs next week, assuming there isn't a bigger Tory skip fire to discuss at the time. So what do we think will happen? I think Sunak will do nothing. I think the Tory party is now a hotbed of radical extremists, and I think Sunak is too weak to take advantage of what for him should be a gift. Because by not taking action, the Conservative Party are essentially saying that they, even if they don't approve of what she said, it's at least in alignment with their core values and what others said that she appeared to align herself with as well. I think what's going to emerge here is more evidence that Sunak is just a puppet leader. He is the figurehead for the party, but he's not running the show. In fact, he's not even representing the real power within his party, let alone leading it. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, please click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, the join button for memberships. And until next time, I'll see you later.